AI revives extinct creatures, and we met. The first one, for 66 million years, the sky was missing its king. The largest flying creature in the history of our planet was just a memory, locked away in stone. A ghost. Until now. What you're about to see is footage of the first living, breathing Quetzalcoatlus since the end of the age of dinosaurs. But before you get too excited, let's be absolutely clear. As of today, the de-extinction of a Quetzalcoatlus hasn't been reported. DNA degrades over millions of years, making its revival currently impossible. What you're witnessing is an elaborate what-if. It's a simulation, but one so deeply grounded in real-world science that it offers a peek into a future that might be closer than we think. This is the story of that project, and a glimpse of its impossible creation. Section 1. The Project. The goal of the fictional Project Chimera was audacious. Resurrect a creature not from perfect DNA found in amber, but by fixing its shattered genetic code. The core idea was to teach an AI to fill in the millions of genetic gaps. The team fed a neural network every scrap of data they could find. The genomes of living relatives like birds and crocodilians. Every fossil scan, muscle attachment points, and environmental data from the late Cretaceous period. The AI's job was to act as an evolutionary translator, predicting the genetic code that would build a Quetzalcoatlus. In this thought experiment, scientists would synthesize this AI-generated genome and grow it inside a biobag, a high-tech artificial womb. While this sounds like pure science fiction, it's not as far-fetched as it seems. Companies like Colossal Biosciences are already using AI and gene editing to bring back the woolly mammoth and the thylacine. Their process involves editing the DNA of the Asian elephant to create a functional substitute. Project Chimera just asks, what happens when AI gets good enough to close a much bigger gap? Well, the answer to that question now has a name. Atlas. Section 2. Meet the Titan. So, what exactly was Quetzalcoatlus? Named after an Aztec feathered serpent god, it was the largest known flying animal of all time. Recent estimates place its wingspan at 10 to 11 meters, about 36 feet. That's the size of a small private jet. On the ground, its head towered 16 feet in the air, as tall as a modern giraffe. For decades, scientists were stumped as to how something so massive could even get off the ground. New studies show it would launch with an incredible leap, jumping nearly 8 feet straight up before taking its first powerful wing stroke. And you can forget the old pictures of it skim-feeding like a giant pelican. Modern analysis shows its long, toothless beak and stiff neck were terrible for that. Instead, paleontologists now see Quetzalcoatlus as a terrestrial stalker. It walked the plains on all fours, using its giraffe-like height to survey the landscape and pluck up small dinosaurs with its beak, like a horrifying giant stork. This wasn't some simple lizard with wings. It was a complex predator that dominated on land and in the air. This is the animal Project Chimera wanted to bring back. Section 3. The first flight. In the story of Project Chimera, Atlas's body was a living test of the AI's reconstructed DNA. On the day he was released into a massive, secure biome, he stood on the grass, a creature of impossible scale. He moved with a strange four-limbed grace, his folded wings acting as front legs, exactly as paleontologists predicted. For a short time, he just walked, an alien in an alien time. The team waited. The AI had built him, but instinct had to fly him. And then it happened. He turned to face the wind, crouched, and sprung upwards with a power that seemed impossible. The 8-foot vertical leap the models had predicted. For a split second, he hung there, this unbelievable shape against the sky. Then his wings, wider than a bus is long, unfurled with a sound like a hurricane tearing through canvas. That first downstroke was immense, a blast of power that flattened the grass below. 2 more strokes, and he cleared the trees, climbing with an eerie, silent grace. The king was back in his sky. And just like that, the speculative became spectacular. Section 4. So, now what? Watching a fictional atlas Saw brings up a big question. So now what? Real-world de-extinction projects are often driven by the idea of ecological restoration. But critics raise valid concerns. Could a resurrected species become invasive in a changed world? What about the welfare of the animals themselves, brought into the world through highly artificial means? There's a fine line between being responsible stewards and simply playing God. While bringing back a real dinosaur is still off the table, AI is already changing paleontology. Scientists are using it to analyze CT scans of fossils, telling bone from rock in minutes, a job that used to take months. This is massively speeding up the pace of discovery. AI is also creating incredibly detailed biomechanical models, showing us how these animals actually move. So even if AI isn't giving us a living, breathing dinosaur yet, it's resurrecting them digitally with stunning accuracy. It's opening a window to the past, even if we can't quite step through it. Conclusion. The story of Atlas is a work of fiction, but it's a story about right now. The fusion of AI with the science of deep time is already here, and it's changing everything. It's letting us meet these incredible creatures and understand their world and ours with more clarity than ever before. We are living in an age of discovery, where the line between possible and science fiction gets redrawn every single day. If you want to stay on the cutting edge of how technology is bringing the ancient world back to life, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell.